Good afternoon, my name is Dominic Hall. I'm the Managing Director of Atelier Technology Limited, and we're building the world's first enterprise jewellery network. So in the last 2 decades, we've all witnessed the dramatic change that the internet delivered. Before the internet, if I wanted to rent a DVD, I went to Blockbuster. If I wanted to buy a designer bag, I went to Harvey Nichols. And if I wanted to buy a CD, I would have gone to HMV or Argos. The impact of that change was deep and dramatic on every industry, and the jewellery industry was no exception. When I started in 1998 in the jewellery industry, we sold a very deep quantity of a relatively narrow range of styles. Volume was a vertical game. After the internet, volume has become a horizontal game, where consumers want more unique products and they benefit from lower costs. The companies who understood that built empires on the back of that understanding, and today the consumer has more choice and better value than ever before. And the problem for the jewellery industry is the supply side of the equation has not adapted to this change in the same way that the retail side has. Retailers have had no choice but to embrace e-commerce. But the supply side equation that underpins all of that retail business is exactly the same as it was 20 years ago. And it's a bandwidth problem, right? So 20 years ago, if I was buying 100 items from 100 vendors, I had 10,000 data points. Today, if I need to buy 1,000 items from 1,000 vendors, I have 1,000,000 data points to manage. And that's not possible with human beings. You need software to do that job. The net result of that bandwidth problem is that everybody is afraid of their inbox, right? I'm afraid of my inbox. And what's happening is that to hit X amount of revenue, every company, be they a retailer, wholesaler, or manufacturer, is having to do an exponentially larger amount of work. And that is taking place through inboxes, PDFs, Excels, emails. And so everybody's inbox is a horror story. The jewellery industry has seen significant investment inside companies. I've seen robotics in lost wax casting in Thailand this year. I never thought I'd see that. An antiquated process as old as the pharaohs. But what's missing and conspicuous by its absence in the jewellery industry is a cloud play. Unbelievable but true. It doesn't exist. And what the cloud play unlocks is the potential for every stakeholder in a diversified ecosystem to use a common universal language to plug in to each other. Atelier is the first product of its kind. We enable rapid communication between, in this example, a buyer and a supplier, which instead of taking place via email, PDF and attachments, is actually taking place on shared software on their connected computers. The internet connected their computers, and Atelier is providing shared softwares on that connected network to rapidly increase efficiency, to dramatically increase efficiency. What you're seeing is a 70 or 80% efficiency gain against doing the equivalent job via email. What you're seeing here is an interface which today on a buyer's desktop in a big jewellery company looks like a folder with a PDF and an Excel inside it. On Atelier, that same buyer benefits from an elegant interface that automatically reminds them when a threshold, a date threshold or a deadline has been met, that automatically introduces the quotation data from the vendor into their systems so that they can rapidly make better decisions. When we go to speak to these retailers, Atelier doesn't say, hey, come and join our marketplace. Atelier says, here is your own private search and comparison engine. Invite your supply chain, your trusted partners into this ecosystem so you can benefit from the power of Google and leverage that to become a more dynamic, more exciting retail company. And the great unique play, if you like, of Atelier is that we leverage those buying positions, the influence that they have over their supply chain, to induct an entire supply chain. And every supply chain we induct builds out our gross network. We're replacing Excel in large companies in the UK already. If you think about it, if your vendors are using the same system that you're using to manage your pricing, there's no longer the requirement to manipulate and migrate data between two systems. You've got a huge efficiency gain when you have access to a tool like that. You can afford to spend much more time thinking about commercially productive solutions rather than chasing your tail in your inbox. And this is what it looks like. This is what 70% email reduction looks like on your screen. This is where the computer is doing the bulk of the administrative burden, leaving your human resource free to do the interpretation, evaluation, and place the instruction. And when they can do that, they can manage exponentially more work. So if you're a sales guy, the average in jewelry, without dipping below a sort of unacceptable level of customer service, is for a sales guy, he can handle between 5 and 15 companies. Using Atelier, he can handle between 25 and 50 companies. And so think about the impact on the bottom line of those sales companies when they can empower their existing resource to do exponentially more work. We're also delivering a purchase order system which obviates the need to move orders via PDF. It integrates beautifully with your accounting software and delivers the world's first jewelry quality control system where diverse stakeholders geographically and in different areas of different organizations can all look at the same picture. The companies on this slide are all in our pipeline. Some of them are already contracted enterprise users that you can see on our homepage. And 7 of these companies have revenue of over $1 billion a year. So you can see that we're already getting traction with the biggest influencers in this industry, and we'll be able to leverage that industry to load the entire industry onto our SaaS platform. And one of the key facilitators in that loading process is that we're not replacing the existing architecture, the existing software, which is a common question for investors that I speak to. We're integrating with existing systems. In fact, I like to think of it like we're providing the oil in the engine that enables existing systems to increase velocity, to increase uptime, and dramatically impact efficiency. These softwares that currently sit inside buying companies could be some that you see on the left-hand side of the slide, and typically we find these kind of enterprise solutions in selling companies. But what's completely missing is software that helps the sales office of the vendor company or the purchasing office of the retail company, the buying company. How do they interact? How do we make their jobs more fluid? And we're replacing Excel, email, and PDF with interactive, standardized software to empower remote trading. Our horizon as a company is data. What we're trying to build with Atelier is a SaaS play, a software as a service play, forgive me, that becomes the cash positive vehicle to enable us to go on a much longer journey. And that longer journey is a journey towards data and business intelligence. Now, business intelligence already exists in the industry at a company level. So that means that Tmall in China and Walmart in America can both tell you what the most popular diamond grade or gemstone or bracelet size was on their platform last year, 2017. But nobody can tell you what was the most popular diamond grade, gemstone or bracelet size worldwide. And what Atelier enables is an intelligence layer injected between the means of production and that fragmented, diversified retail environment. And we can position ourselves as the ultimate intelligence service on the jewelry industry, whether you're a big data company, a financial organization, or the actual incumbents themselves who just want transparency onto their own data, to which they've been blindsided for years. So in closing, we're addressing a giant market. This is a market that's experiencing deep and acute pain. We've assembled a world-class team that combines deep domain expertise with technology capability. We've already delivered a world-class product, as is demonstrated by the traction that we've received and compound month-on-month growth. We're now seeking funds to fuel the scale-up stage of our business and to help us meet the gaping market opportunity ahead of us. Thank you very much for your attention, and I welcome your questions.